the Bucks made two big moves last night. It's hard to talk about those two moves without talking about them in relation to each other. So I'm gonna make this one giant video. So let's go over the first one. Bucks. I've traded Ersan Ilyasova, E.J. Wilson, and Dante DiVincenzo to the Kings for Bogdan Bogdanovic and Justin James. Bucks' other trade of the night was that they traded George Hill, Eric Bledsoe, and three first-round picks and two swaps of first-round picks. The picks that they traded are on your screen. The Bobby Marks, not trying to take great credit for it. I couldn't get the logo that shows who the journalist is, but just because of framing. But that's regardless. To the Pelicans for Jrue Holiday. Let's go over the non-Bucks perspectives from both of these trades. All right. So for the Kings, I like this a lot. If they gave Bogdan an extension, they would have been stuck in kinda a team that maybe makes the playoffs. When they do reach their full potential, I mean, they would have made the playoffs. But I don't think they would have made anything more than that. And it also gives them flexibility to have, to still have flexibility when they do give De'Aaron Fox that huge contract in a year. Or he's a restricted free agent in 2021. But you're gonna have to give him a lot of money, because he is a rising star in this league. And yeah, it does. This moves gives them flexibility. And I mean, you hate to see Bogdan go. I personally would have wanted a first round pick for him, but I do like Dante DiVincenzo a lot. I think he has some things to work on. Really, I'd love to see him work a little bit more on his ball handling so he can become more of a ball handler and more of like a 1 or a 2. Like, he'd just be flexible at those two guard positions. And I guess his defending needs a little bit of work. But I do think he's a very promising player. Ersan Ilyasova, I think despite he struggled this year, I think he's going to flourish in this Kings system. Just because I think this Kings fast-paced system really helps big men that can shoot. And Ersan can do that. Defending's a bit of a problem with him, but he can still shoot. So I think he's a pretty good... I think he's going to flourish in this Kings system. Even though he struggled a little bit this year in Milwaukee. And DJ Wilson... expect that much from DJ Wilson to have that much impact on the Kings this season. But I mean, look, he seems to be a good teammate guy. And I mean, he isn't bad shooting the ball, especially inside the 3-point range. So I mean, he could excel there for the Kings there. But I don't expect him to have that many minutes on this Kings team. But in summary, I do think this is a good trade for the Kings. I think the ability that they're still going to have cap space and they're not going to be stuck with this team is pretty huge for them. And yeah, I think this is, I mean, I would have wanted a first round pick for Bogdan, but I mean, this isn't the biggest loss in the world for the Kings here. I think this is an okay trade for them. Now on to the Pelicans side of the Jrue Holiday trade. Oh, I love this trade for the Pelicans. They got a haul for Jrue Holiday. For a man who's on a 1-year contract, he does have that player option in 2021. But they got a haul for this man. They got 3 first-round draft picks, 2 swaps, and it's not even like they got the Bucks' late first-round pick. They got the Pacers pick, which could end up being maybe the end of the lottery pick, 14th, 15th pick, but it probably will end up in like the early 20s. But yeah, it's a pretty big haul. They also got the 2027 first round pick unprotected and 2025 unprotected. I mean, this trade will be a massive win for the Pelicans if Giannis doesn't re-sign. And even if he does, I mean, it's just that was a massive haul for the Pelicans in this trade. They also got George Hill, who does have a lot of value on the trade market. Don't decide to keep him. He is technically an expiring contract because it's only $1.27 million guaranteed. He's a 2-year deal, but the next year, 2021-22, it's only $1.275 million guaranteed. So it's kind of like an expiring. And he had a really good year last year. The stats don't show it. He only averaged something like 9 points on 21 minutes and three assists. But I thought I think his impact goes beyond the stat book. And also I think he's a very good locker room guy. So they could end up keeping him just for they do have a lot of young players on the team, so they do need some, veterans. So they could end up keeping him. But either way, the George Hill acquisition is pretty huge. Eric Bledsoe. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if they try to flip Bledsoe too at some point. But again, they could end up keeping him. He's a pretty good player in this league. He averaged 14.9 points last year. 4.4 assists. He struggles a lot in the playoffs. But I mean, he's still pretty good. He's still really good in this league, and his contract isn't that bad. It's some people would consider it overpaid. It's not that overpaid. It's around $17 million per year. It's only $16.8 million this year, $18 million next year, and $19 million the year after that. But it's only $3.9 million guaranteed in that last year, that deal that I mentioned, 2023 to 2022 to 2023, excuse me. But I mean, he's a really good player in this year, in this league, he does struggle a lot in the playoffs, and it wouldn't surprise me if they flip him, just because of the size of that contract. But yeah, I think this was a huge win for the Pelicans, in this trade. And now let's get to the Bucks' perspective of both of these trades, because you kind of have to put both of them together. For the Bucks, I like the Bogdan part of this. I forgot to mention it is a signing trade. It's going to cost around $18 million. Bogdan's contract this year is going to be around $18 million, something like that. At least to NBA reporters and NBA capologists and all that stuff. But yeah, I like Bogdan. It is a significant upgrade over DiVincenzo and I guess Wilson too, because Wilson is a guard wing combo, something like that. Well, he is a wing, but you can consider him a guard. But I do think it's a significant upgrade. And Ersan, he wasn't really fitting in their system. Also, he was declining a lot in terms of playing ability. So I do think for that, I do like that part of this kind of upgrade. I think in regards to Bogdan, you're going to see him take those minutes that Korver and Dante DiVincenzo split in the playoffs this year. Just because I think Bogdan is reliable two guard for them to depend on the playoffs. Not that Dante DiVincenzo and Korver are bad, but in the playoffs with Korver, it was just he couldn't play defense that well, and David DiVincenzo, it was kind of the same thing. His defense wasn't that great. But with Bogdan, it's a significant upgrade. And yeah, I like that part of it. Now let's get to the Jrue Holiday side of this major true acquisition stuff. That's a weird way to phrase it, but let's keep moving. All right. I think it's let me restart. Jrue Holiday is a really good player in this league. His ability to defend is all NBA level. And I think his ability to be, basically he can play both guard positions. He can handle the ball. He can be the two guard and, space the floor. And, he's a pretty good shooter, all that stuff. But they gave up a lot. He isn't a all NBA talent. He's an all NBA defender, but he's not an all NBA overall player in this league. And the haul they gave up is what you trade for an All-NBA team player. And Jrue Holiday isn't that. It's my thing with this is if Giannis signs the Supermax, then this is the hugest win for the Bucks. Because you kept Giannis. Either he signs Supermax now, or he signs the Supermax, or he can't sign the Supermax next offseason. Or I don't think he can. But whatever, he resigns with the Bucks. Awesome, great. But if he doesn't, then this could be really, really bad for the Bucks going forward. I mean, it would be bad either way if Giannis doesn't resign. But they've just those two unprotected picks in 2025 and 2027. Those could be extremely valuable if Giannis doesn't resign. Even the 2027 pick could still be very extremely valuable, even if Giannis does resign, just because it's so off into the future. You don't know what that team's going to be like. But yeah, it was just a lot, and I definitely think this package, that they offered for Jrue Holiday, they definitely could have traded for Chris Paul for this. This was definitely better than the Suns' offer for Chris Paul. Apparently they weren't interested in Chris Paul, according to some reports out there. But I do think Chris Paul would have been a better fit with this team, and he's a better player than Jrue Holiday. No disrespect to Jrue Holiday. I mean, Jrue Holiday is an amazing player, all NBA defender, all that stuff. But I don't think he's better than Chris Paul, and I do think they should have tried for Chris Paul with this trade package, and it would have been probably accepted. Because even though the Thunder didn't want to take back salary, or long-term salary in the Chris Paul trade, they would have taken back only Eric Bledsoe only has basically 2 more years left on his deal, because that last year in 2023, there's only $3.9 million guarantee. You could just cut him if you didn't really want to keep him. I don't know why you do that, because Eric Bledsoe is a really good player, but if you didn't want to take back salary, then you could have done that. But enough rambling on about how they could have traded for Chris Paul. But in summary, I think this was a lot to trade for Jrue Holiday. But if Giannis signs, then this is the biggest trade. This is the biggest win in a trade for the Bucks in their history. And yeah, that's really it. I do think this is both of these trades significantly increase their chances of winning the NBA championship this season. I don't think they're the favorites in the East. But anyways, that's really all I got in this video. So to summarize, all 4 teams win this trade. I think the Kings, it's not the biggest win in the world, but it's a win for them. The Pelicans is a big win. For the Bucks, I don't want to say this is a win or loss. I think this trade was, I guess, it's as I said before, it's amazing. Biggest trade in Bucks history. If Giannis resigns, but if he doesn't, both of these trades could come back to hurt them a lot. But that's what you got to do. You got to go all in when you have a player such as Giannis on your team. But yeah, that's really all I got in this video. Like, subscribe, and thanks for watching. This video is going to end up being like 14 minutes, but I figure it covers 2 trades, so I mean the length of it isn't that much big of a deal. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments of both trades. From either perspective. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.